let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your issue splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Corner to Copa. This is an unfamiliar time for most of you Corner to Copa and Bleachers to Speakers followers. It's Wednesday, but we got some breaking news. It's been a rainy day in the Detroit area, but we got some sunshine, some metaphorical sunshine anyways. If you're watching on YouTube, we got Kevin Mcgonigle pictured in the background, and he's pretty fired up. And why wouldn't you be? Because he just got a major payday. Coach, what are the details, and what are your early thoughts about that?
Yeah, he gets 8 years, $150 million. Not as much, I think, as a Connor Griffin extension by maybe $10 million. But all in all, these are extremely friendly terms between club and player. Essentially, the extra 2 years the Tigers are buying of his eligible free agency. So that's kind of why it's coming out close to $20 million a year. However, it is going to be spread out quite differently as we get into it real quick here. For next year, 2027, for when it starts, he'll only get paid a base salary of $1 million. 28, he'll get $7 million. 2029, $16 million. 2030, 21. 2031 will be 22, and then the final 2 years in 2032, 33, and 34. Sorry, the final 3 years, it'll be 23 million each, all with escalators those final 3 years, which I think could bump him up another 2 to 3 million additionally per year. How that works out. So yeah, there are the escalators in there, pushing it to a total collective of 160 million. So yeah, it would be an extra 10 million spread out in there that he could earn to make it almost 20 million a year. There is an assignment bonus. He's owed $5 million if he is traded to another major league team at any point of his contract, and there is no trade clauses not in there. He's not. I don't think he's old enough yet to have that in such a contract.
All right. So would you have expected in December, would you have expected that we would have extended him by this point?
No, I mean, because we hadn't seen him. He hadn't been past AA pretty much. So yeah, all we knew was we were so focused on blowing our own division lead, white knuckling it down the stretch the last 45, 50 days. We were thinking like, oh God, here come the Sharks. But no, absolutely not. And I think this is a culmination of Skubal winning his arbitration case. Why would teams want to risk a player of a talent like Mcgonigle or Connor Griffin? Why risk having them reset the market again, potentially 5-6 years from now when they get there? Because Detroit's paying 32. So when you look at the average per year between 18, 19, $20 million a year, the player gets the great front end of that on the arbitration years for the most part. Otherwise, you'd be making $800K, $900K, maybe $1 million if you're lucky. Now, within the first couple of years, you're already making close to $10 million, and you're secured through your first 2 years of free agency. If something happens within these first 6 years, you're paid, you're taken care of, and they have extra time with you to work through that kind of injury. So this is a win-win either way. And frankly, for Chris Ilitch, it's value.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that you can kind of, set your family for life, get that all out of the way before you, damn near touch the baseball field. Is definitely ideal for the player, especially when you do it early enough to where by 29, he'll be due for whatever a top end player is making 8 years down the road. So yeah, it works out. And yeah, I think it's the trend. We knew it wasn't very realistic back in December. But as these deals started going, coming down the pipeline, most recently Connor Griffin before him, it made it a lot more realistic. We saw reports that maybe there were some talks. I think that we were heavily in the works at that point for it to be official. But this is a great thing for just the city as a whole, with the number of other just stars within the city that are being extended. Jalen Duren's going to get his money soon. Kate Cunningham's got his. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown and a number of other guys within the Detroit organizations that are now locked in. And I think the icing on the cake was just how he's performed thus far. I mean, right now he's as far as averages are concerned, he's one of the best hitters in all of baseball. He's already at the top of the lineup. He's been in the 3-hole. He's been in he's been the leadoff hitter. And, the fans around here are already, you're already seeing the number 7 jerseys everywhere. And it's only going to get, bigger the more he plays. And now that he's locked in that jersey, you can invest in that jersey because it ain't going nowhere. You ain't got to worry about him getting traded in a couple years. So he's locked in. He's kind of what you will want your young star players to be about. I mean, he pretty much just works hard. He's not super flashy. He just comes in there and plays hard, and gets the job done. So I think it's very it's a good look for the organization. As far as having a guy that's as young as he is and as talented as he is as well. So now we're starting to get a better look of what the Tigers are going to look like in the future. Up until this point, all we knew was that Cole Keith was extended long-term. But now we kind of have the makings of a little bit of an infield here. We know that Kevin Mcgonigle can play anywhere, but as of right now, I'm thinking that he's going to be the future shortstop for the foreseeable future. And then Cole Keith can either play second base, third base, first, wherever we can move him around depending on who else is coming up, whether it's Briseño's down the road, then you put him at first, put Briseño at first base, and then he takes over for Glaber because Glaber's going to be gone after this year. So I think it's a good, peek into the future of who is going to be around. But yeah, what else we got to talk about?
Do you think what the individual got back, speaking of Kevin Mcgonigle, his first home run ball over the weekend? I think we finally figured out what they, I don't know if you saw, but what they ended up giving the individual who was fortunate enough to catch such a piece of history. But the fact that I think you also said offline, you kind of know that person too.
Yeah, I don't know him. I know his uncle. I guess I think he posted on Facebook and like tagged him and stuff like that. But yeah, just faintly, just I don't know. I don't know the kid at all. But but I know
the haul they gave him back was worth the price that he sold it for.
Is it ever? I mean, depending on, especially now that he signed that contract. I mean. Yeah, that the price of that ball just went up. So it's more of you'll never get the value back you'll never get the value back on an exchange like that. But it's more of a keepsake type deal. You put that in your man cave. What is it? A signed bat and a signed ball or something like that?
Yeah, and a jersey, I think too.
Okay, yeah. Then it's not, yeah. So, it's cool. You got the picture, so it's all authentic and real. And then, you got some stuff that you can look back on. In 40 years after Kevin Mcgonigle has won some All-Stars and some World Series or whatever the case may be, you can say, "Hey, son, look, I caught the ball." Hey, we'll see about that. But based upon this paycheck, he's going to be bringing home some hardware soon. Whether it's just a rookie of the season, just to start, but yeah, he can look back and say, hey, I got a chance to meet him. I caught his first fly ball. Here's the signed bat. Here's the jersey. Here's the picture. In this day and age, we got pictures. You can pull it up on your phone. You can plaster it on your wall. We got real deal proof for things. So, that's a cool opportunity. Otherwise, you don't get many opportunities to be in the dugout and to meet players and all that type of stuff and get that type of publicity. That's all. That was Channel 7 and that went big viral. So it's about the memories, So but yeah, so very, very culminating moment. I mean, this just happened on Sunday. He's only played one game since then. Another big game, big game on Tuesday. What did he do? Somebody was on base. And McKinstry was on third base, pass ball while Mcgonigle was batting. And then McKinstry scores. And then Mcgonigle, that's going to be tough. Mcgonigle and McKinstry. And then Mcgonigle walks. And then somebody bats. Oh, no, Dingler bats him in on a line shot down the third baseline. And he scores the game-winning run, right? Yeah, he scored the game-winning run. So they were like, "Yeah, let's just let's ink this deal. This guy is for real. He's coming up in big-time situations already." But yeah, very, very exciting. We got a lot of young talents secured for the foreseeable future. Now we got to get the Red Wings on this. Like, what is it, Casper? Is Casper the guy, the future guy?
They may be looking externally for that answer.
Yeah. That's probably for the best. Because how old is Sider?
Young, like early mid-20s, super young.
So yeah. So I guess Sider is the closest we got to, future. The future as far as
there's talks about him possibly winning a Norris. So yeah, he's definitely got some individual talent for sure. Yeah.
So even some a little bit of optimism for the Red Wings, although we need to see a whole lot more. Maybe the goalie coming up through the system can be that next guy.
They got two of them. They just signed the other one from Michigan State. Coast has been at GR. They had a whale of a year to start 24-1, and then Tragostin, just casually guiding Michigan State to a top 3 ranking almost all year round, pretty much, and getting into as a 1 seed. So, yeah, they got to do something. They got goalies out the wazoo, but they're getting wrecked for these soft Swedish players they keep taking. They need some ferocity, some ferociousness, some teeth, if you will.
For sure. So yeah, any other closing remarks? We didn't want to hold you guys too long. We got an NFC North show coming up, or I do anyways, and then we got probably a Piston playoff preview show coming up soon as well. But any closing words about this contract, this announcement?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down to. I'm like, you know what? Let's really give a pulse for the future, just beyond what is the uncertainty of next year. But I'm down to re-sign Colt too, extend him another 3 years, because you got 3 years left on that 6-year deal that you gave him, or 5 or 6 years, whatever it was. $30 million. It was a good value, great value right now. And extend Dingler. 4 years, $70 million, something like that. I mean, these are guys that are not only carrying out right now, but they're proving they can do different things. Dingler, I think by far is capable of a Silver Slug and a Gold Glove in the same year. Cole Keith has played. He could play almost better anywhere else other than second, which is kind of weirdly ironic. And to your point about Glaber, Max Anderson's right behind and not too far away, and Bryce Renier is looking healthy coming out to start after his shoulder surgery last year. So they've got a couple more inner middle infielders that they can rely on in possibly 2028 and beyond. So it's going to be interesting what the free agency spending looks like surrounding some of these guys.
So you want us to go through the Colt Keith thing before we sign anybody else?
I mean, other than those two guys, I mean, Colton Dingler, I mean,
Riley. So Riley Green, you're kind of you're cautious of Riley Green.
We'll see. Hey, I said it, before the season 1 show this year that I kind of expected regression from him, although his on base has been better. I mean, if he keeps up even close that kind of strikeout pace, I don't know. I mean, it's going to take quite a bit of luck to replicate that same kind of home run output and still strike out over 200 times. That's just a very tough ask to do. So I don't know. I kind of want to see I don't want to see the bottom, but I want to see what a downside looks like after a year that he had last year. Because I'm not entirely sold. Because you kind of going to have to choose between him and Carey if you think about it long term. If you're going to lock out some of these other middle infielders and Dingler, I think one of those two may end up being the outside. But we're talking a couple years or so away at least.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose between the two right now, I think Riley Green's proved a little more just from an aspect of durability and results. But he has shown he's reached base in every game this year, which is impressive and encouraging. But yeah, ready to see the power. I predicted that Colt Keith would hit the next home run. We still haven't had a home run yet. We manufactured a couple runs yesterday. Didn't look good for most of the game offensively. So, but yeah, I'm all on board with the Dylan Dingler thing for sure. Yeah. See what we got. Hello. Can you shout me out? Rena Kelly in the building. Nice bike. But yeah, while we got some people in the building, definitely subscribe to the channel. We bring you breaking news, obviously, when it comes through. The big announcement today being the signing of Kevin Mcgonigle to an 8-year, $150 million deal. And he'll progressively, make more as the years move on. One thing that I didn't really get a chance to talk about is the fact that, as far as talking about the future and things of that nature, obviously, Max Clark has been playing very well, and due to the, unfortunate injury to, Parker Meadows, the talks of when do we pull the trigger, when do we make that deal, obviously he's come up through the ranks with Mcgonigle, and that'll be a little bit of a a view into the further future ahead, is when they're both playing playing together, not against each other, together. So and Wenzel Perez is currently 0 for 10 so far. So we'll see if Max Clark can keep up this same kind of consistency, hit for a little bit more power for another month and a half. It could, we could see, especially with Veerling's been struggling too. So not a whole lot of production from the outfield right now. It's been a lot of Mcgonigle, Colt Keith, Dingler, not the people that you would have necessarily expected to do a lot of the heavy lifting. So, but we'll see. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We'll see how things play out over the next month or so.
Well, you did see that they moved Parker to the 60-day DL yesterday.
Yeah.
So that screams to me surgery. So I am pretty much. Yeah, it's right in Atlanta. I mean, I feel like the outfield is almost unanimously going to be. I mean, they're probably going to look for some pitching help, shockingly, but I mean, I think it just overwhelmingly makes the outfield. Doesn't matter if it's center or out, and that's kind of that. I would say that, including assuming we bring Clark up at some point, because to your point that we talked about offline and last Sunday too, you can't have a trio of Perez, Perez, Green, and Carpenter, 2 out of 3 struggling that bad together at the same time at any given point. It just deflates your lineup and your ability to produce runs. So I think worst comes to worst, there will be a casualty, but it'll become after via a trade before the deadline. But it's definitely gonna be an outfielder, and unfortunately, if it's not Jahmai Jones before then, it will probably most likely be him at that point, just because Wenciel's got options still, and he is a switch hitter. So
yeah. And the other unfortunate ththing is we finally saw a lefty starter. It was the first one of the year, and Jahmai Jones was sick and was not able to start. So, because at first I was like, the writing is really on the wall if he doesn't get the start, today against Cole, the other day against Cole Reagan. So, but yeah, AJ came out and said that he was sick, and that was the reason why he missed the game. So, hopefully we can see another lefty soon, and he can get in there and try to make some things happen. But it has not been pretty versus the lefties or the righties this year. MSU Detroit fan in the building. He said the new thing seems to extending prospects immediately, probably to avoid arbitration. Yeah, it's a really good thing for small markets and teams that tend to not spend a lot of money, like Pittsburgh, like Seattle, like Milwaukee. It makes a lot of sense for them. They're spending. I mean, it's not like they're not spending a lot of money, but it's good value, especially if those young players turn into all-star, multi-time all-stars. He said Colt got paid early. Also, definitely talked about that. Isn't Green and Torque also arbitration eligible? This upcoming year? I think they both are.
I think Torkelson is.
Torkelson will be interesting. This is a really big year for him, I think, especially because he started slow, because that's going to push his value down, because he's kind of been waffling a little bit. He's going up and down as far as his production. So he really needed another 30 home run year. Not to say that he won't get there, but they both got to get it going, which we'll see. Yesterday wasn't a good day for either one of them, from what I recall. Torque has Boris as an agent. Well, he can ask for that big check, but maybe he can go back to San Diego and play in Cali or something. That was a little harsh.
Yeah, they're projecting right now, I think he's got one more year of eligibility. They're projecting somewhere between 7 and 10 million.
Oh, he's on Torque?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's reasonable. But
we spent more on worse.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely have. Especially in those couple 1-year deals. Alex Cobb and who else? Anyways,
do you even know if he's real?
Not to bring up a sore subject. You said what?
We don't know if he's real. We never saw him ever.
Yeah. Just a handful of times in spring training, and maybe, yeah. But yeah, that'll pretty much wrap things up. We'll be back on Sunday reviewing a week in baseball. Hopefully we can talk about a sweep of the Royals or something like that. Only for trading Torque, so we can get high level bat in return, or at least a Max Anderson call up. Yeah. We've got some solid years out of Torkelson. Everybody's not going to get extended. If he's got a bag that he can go get, by all means, go out and get it. But all right, we will catch you guys on Sunday, and stay tuned. If any other breaking news happens, anything else go down, a Dingler extension or a crazy call up or something like that, then best believe we will get on the horn and talk about it. But catch y'all next time.
Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way. Don't